Dear children, like air, water, food, shelter, electricity has also become our basic necessity. Without it, we cannot imagine our life to be comfortable and full of luxury. So, in chapter number 12, we are going to learn about electricity. In today's class, we will be focusing on what is electricity and what are its uses. We will study about electric cells, bulb, and the function of switch, why is it important in an electric circuit, and we will also differentiate between conductors and insulators. Children, do you remember why do we eat food? Yes, we need to eat food to gain energy to do some work. Okay. Similarly, electrical energy is a type of energy which is required to do various types of work. In fact, we cannot imagine our life without electrical energy. Electricity is very important in our life, in our day to day life, and in various activities, we are dependent on electricity. So, what are these various activities? Dear children, there are endless daily life activities for which we are dependent on electricity, such as we run home appliances on electricity. We need electrical energy to do street lighting and use traffic signals. And the heavy machines are working on electricity only in industries and factories. What about telecommunication? It is impossible without electricity. And metro train, electric train all run on electricity, isn't it? Space technology, security system, and various health equipments also need electricity. Then let's find out where these electrical energy is produced. So as you can see in this picture, this is a kind of thermal power station, right? In Delhi also there is thermal power station. Can you guess the name? Okay, this is another picture of thermal power station where electricity is generated. And we also use power of water that is stored in the dam to produce electricity. Water is allowed to fall from great height, which runs the turbine when it is released from the great height, and this turbine rotates very fast and generates the electricity with the help of generator, and it is then transferred to our household use with the help of power stations and sub power stations. Now, children, let's see diagrammatically how the water at great height is allowed to fall on turbines. As you can see in the picture, turbine rotates very fast, and this causes generation of electricity in the generator, and this generated electricity is then transferred to our household with the help of wires and electrical poles. Now, here you can see how air or wind energy is used to produce electricity. Now, children, do you remember when there is power cut off, then we usually use a torch, isn't it? Where the torch gets its energy. If you open a torch, you will see that it contains cells or single cell or two or more cells, isn't it? So there are many ways in which electricity can be produced. Various devices are used to get electrical energy, such as cells, battery, generators, power station, etc. All these are sources of electricity. Now here is very simple diagram which shows the arrangement of cells and the bulb in a torch. To understand the term electricity, we need to know about the structure of atom. Every metal in this universe is made up of atom. But atom is so small that we cannot see with our naked eyes. So we are going to use a simplified model which will help us to understand the structure of atom and the term electricity. Now this atom is made up of three particles which is proton, positively charged, neutron, having no charge, and electron, which is negatively charged. So let us see how they are arranged in this structure. See, in the center there is nucleus, which is made up of proton and neutron. Proton is positive, neutron is neutral, so the nucleus is positively charged. And the electrons are moving around this nucleus in different energy cells, or like in the center there is sun and the planets are revolving around it, right? Electrons are also revolving around the nucleus. As we can see, negatively charged electron is attracted towards the proton present in the nucleus, and the number of electron is exactly equal to the number of proton, so this makes the atom neutral. Let us understand with the help of another diagram. See, here in Bohr's model you can see the arrangement of neutrons and protons at the center in the nucleus, and the blue colored round structure electron, which are negatively charged, are moving around in different cells around the nucleus. You will be studying about these concepts in higher classes, but it is very important to understand the position of electron in the cells. So these electrons are the charge carrier which flow in an electric circuit, and they flow from negative to positive terminal, and this is how electricity moves. But you might have noticed when you comb your hair or rub the scales to your dry hair and you try to attract the bits of paper, it attracts, right? So what is that? It is nothing but when we rub scales, comb, or glass rod, they tend to lose or gain electrons, because of which some charges are produced. But these charges are not moving from one body to another, they will remain there, and such charges are called static charges. And the charges which flow from one body to another, they are termed as electric current. So this is how the electricity is produced. So we can say that electricity is a form of energy which is made up of charges, and that can produce the sensation of light, heat, motion, or sound. So static energy or static electricity, the electric charges are at rest, and in current electricity the electric charges are at motion. Means in an electric circuit the charges are moving, but when we rub comb or any glass rod, the charges are not moving, but they are at the same place, but they attract the pieces of paper or hair. Children, now look at this bulb. Does it remind you of an American scientist, Thomas Alva Edison? Yes, you should know that he tried almost 1000 times to invent this bulb, to make this electrical bulb. It consists of filament and some two supporting wires. When electricity passes through it, this filament will become red hot and start glowing and give out light. Now another gift from scientist Alessandro Volta. He was Italian scientist. He invented the first cell and to produce electricity using certain types of chemicals. Now the battery or the cell converts chemical energy into electric energy with the help of a chemical reaction. Usually the chemicals inside the battery are in paste form. As you can see in the picture, there is one carbon black rod, which is carbon electrode, or you can say positive terminal. There are some chemicals such as ammonium chloride, magnesium dioxide, etc. But you don't need to study in detail. You will be studying about in higher classes. You just understand that cells have chemicals stored in it and which produce electricity. The cell will stop working when these chemicals are used up. A cell has two terminals, one positive and one negative, which are needed to be connected to a device like bulb or electric current to flow. If they are not marked, the metal cap denotes the positive terminal and the flat portion, that is disc, presents the negative terminal. We should connect or join a number of cells if we need more electrical energy. But the positive terminal should be connected to negative of the another cell. The combination of two or more cell, as you can see in this torch, is termed as battery. The electrical cells or batteries which produce electricity directly from chemicals are called primary cells, and the cells which require to be charged using electricity are called secondary cells. Now let us find out the difference between cell and battery. Cell is single unit and the battery is usually two or more group of cells. Depending on the types of electrolytes used, cell is either reserve, wet or dry, whereas battery is either primary or secondary, meaning it is rechargeable or not rechargeable. A cell is usually light and compact. Batteries normally consist of several cells, so it is little bulky. A cell supplies power for shorter period and a battery supplies the power for longer period. So depending upon the requirement of the electricity, we use either cell or the battery. Now this is the diagrammatic representation of a cell and the battery of two cells, in which the longer line represents positive terminal and the shorter one represents negative terminal. The two terminals of the cell are needed to be connected to the two terminals of a bulb in order for the bulb to glow. This flow of electric current from cell to bulb in a particular path is called a circuit. Thus, electric circuit is defined as a closed path in which electric current flows from the source to the various connected devices. These devices are to be connected in a particular manner so that the circuit is complete or the circuit is closed and the current flows between the circuit or in the circuit. Let us understand with the help of diagram. The switch is off, so the bulb is not glowing as the circuit is not complete. The circuit is open and current does not flow through the circuit. In the second diagram, the bulb is glowing, the switch is on, the circuit is complete or closed, and the current is flowing through the circuit, because of which the bulb is glowing. It means open circuit is not a closed and continuous path, and electric current does not flow in an open circuit, whereas the closed circuit is continuous path. The electric current flows in a closed circuit and the bulb glows. Now there is a question. Both the positive and negative terminal of a battery are connected to the same terminal of the bulb. Now the bulb will glow or not. Is this correct way of joining the cell and the bulb? No, it is not. The bulb will not glow as the two terminals of the cell should be connected to two different terminals of the bulb. Then the circuit will be complete. So let us see what controls the flow of electric current in the circuit. So you all know what is this structure called? This device is called electric switch. The green one shows on button and the red one shows off button, and this is called electrical panel, in which different switches are there which are connected to different types of household appliances, right? So with the help of these switches, you are able to control the flow of electric current in the circuit. So the presence of electric switch in a circuit is very, very significant, isn't it? Now look at the picture. What do you see? It says conductors and insulators, and you can see some steel object, rubber object. So what are they? So the conductors are the materials which allow electric current to flow through them. Conductors have free electrons on the surface, and that's why they are good conductor of electricity, such as aluminium and silver. But some materials which do not allow the electric current to pass through them are called insulators. They do not allow any current to pass through them because they do not have free electrons. Copper, aluminium, all these are good conductor of electricity, whereas paper, plastic, rubber are the poor conductor of electricity. So we see that some materials are good conductors, whereas others are not. Insulators protects us from electric shock. Hence, we should wear sleepers made up of plastics or rubbers while working with electrical devices. Conductors helps in transmitting electricity, whereas insulators protect us from electrical shocks. You can see the rubber gloves. These are used by electricians when they are doing some repair work or working with electrical devices. As human body is good conductor of electricity, so if electrician or anybody working with electrical devices touch any live wire with his hand, he will get very heavy electric shock and damage will occur to his body. By this time you might be very much clear why we are studying this chapter. So, one should know about conductors and insulators and dangers and precautions related to handling of electrical devices. Do you think we should be saving electricity? Yes, you remember we used to do a lot of competition, drawing competition regarding save electricity, save life, conserve energy and all that. Yes, because it present in many parts of the world. The demand of various sources of energy such as electricity is more than the production of electricity. That's why there is scarcity of electricity. So we need to save electricity. Otherwise there will be very severe power crisis, and all the electrical appliances will be just like waste material. Then you might be knowing that why we should use electricity judiciously and wisely. Yes, of course, to preserve it for our next generation, and also our human race last longer with luxury. Children, in today's class I am adding some answer keys to objective type questions and also for fill in the blanks, so that those who have completed can check their answers with the help of these answer keys. Also, I have added two questions in which most of the students were confused about. This question is, what happens when the positive terminal of a cell is connected to the positive terminal of another cell? As I explained you in this video, the circuit will not be complete as positive is connected to positive. So how it should be connected? Positive should be connected to negative, and again negative should be connected to positive. That way the connection should be made. Another question was, what happens when both the negative and positive terminals of the cells are connected to the same terminal of the bulb? Again, in this case, the circuit will not be complete and the bulb will not glow. This question I have included in the video also, so that it is clear to you. Such as cell is having two terminals, same way bulb is having two terminal. always remember science is the source of human survival, and we should innovate, explore, experiment, invent, and discover, and so that we human beings always exist on this